It is, wow. So top speed is 315 for this one. Reputation as the Widowmaker. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AUTOBAHN. My name is Max, and today you join me on a lovely summer's evening, and we've got one of those bucket list cars with us. This is a 2003 Porsche 911 GT2, the 996 generation GT2, and it is an absolute icon. This thing brings me back to my bedroom when I was 13, 12, dreaming about cars, collecting model cars, of course, and this was one of them, the Speed Yellow GT2. Absolutely incredible. Speed Gelb, as it is called in German. It is, wow. We got an email from Semyon, who is the owner of this car. He asked us if we wanted to take it out for a spin, and he said the condition, it's a driver, so we could actually drive the car properly. That's what he does. It has almost 100,000 kilometers on the odometer, and it's used properly. He drives it all year round. He even takes it out in winter, like once a month, drives it for 100 kilometers just to keep it fresh, and I think that really shows. This thing feels incredible. So today I'm going to show you around it. I'll show you all the cool stuff you get on a GT2, and after that we'll take it for a little drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast.
Stupid use, but thanks to my new Ventru quad cam system, I have everything captured. Whether it's while parking or while driving, there's no debate on what has happened, because I have 4 cameras that record everything inside and out, and all of these cameras have HDR technology. So this unit right here is a 2.7K front-facing camera combined with a full HD interior cam. Now, if we go to the rear of the car, we have another dual cam setup right there. So this is the rear facing camera, which is a 2.5K, and then we also have an interior cam on this unit right here, which is full HD with infrared technology. So even in dark circumstances, you get a very clear picture on both the interior and the exterior, no matter the lighting. So this car is my daily driver, and I use it to pick up my kids from school. I take it to the shops, I go to sports clubs. Those are like high risk environments for a car, because I took a few hits with this one and I never tracked down the offender. But now I can, because these cams have motion detectors. So if I move around the car, it notices it and it starts recording. If it notices some sort of impact through the G sensors, it also starts recording. And again, this is not only to protect the exterior of the car, but also the interior. It's also very easy to install. You just plug it into the cigarette lighter. It also has a very easy to use display, and it connects to your phone through 5 GHz Wi-Fi. So you have a very fast and stable connection to download video files. And you can also do over-the-air firmware updates. So the Ventru N5S, the only quad cam Starvis 2 sensor system you can get right now on the market. So if you want one of these bad boys, go check out the link in the description and go enjoy the rest of the video.
So let's have a look-see at this gorgeous car, and also see what the differences are compared to, for instance, a GT3 or a turbo of the 996 generation. First things first, front bumper extension, big intake here, or air vent. That is specific to the GT2. The entire front bumper is specific to the GT2, with this little extender as well. You get 2 new intercoolers for optimal cooling. Of course, it has the fried egg headlights that people really despised back in the day, but I absolutely love it now. I don't remember if I liked it or not, but I think now it just looks, it looks right. It looks like this car is supposed to look, I think. I love it. It's also a bit of a retro nostalgia thing, of course. So let's have a look at the wheels and the tires and the brakes. These are 18-inch wheels. This design is so nice, and behind that you can see red calipers. Now, the GT2 was actually the first Porsche sports car that was delivered with carbon ceramic brakes as standard, with yellow calipers. However, one of the previous owners had the ceramic brakes replaced with a steel set. in 2004 already. So that's like 1 year after he bought it. So Semyon thinks that he probably did one change of brake pads and it was like 700 euros, and it was very expensive, and after that he just changed it, which is a shame because it is a very fast car and ceramic brakes are very nice to have. But these brakes do work. You can see perforated discs. I mean, it's a perfectly fine brake, but carbon ceramics usually stand up to being used properly for a little bit longer than steel. 18-inch, as I said, 235 tires at the front, and these are Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. Suspension has also been changed for the GT2, with the geometry being changed, and it's also 10 millimeters lower compared to a turbo. What else? Air intake, of course, you get the body from the turbo, so you get the wide rear fenders with the intake for hot air. And at the rear we've got 315 tires. Now these are Michelin Pilot Sport 2s, and that is because this is the only car that has this size tire, together with the first generation Dodge Viper. It's a 315/30/18, and so it's the only tire you can get for this car. It's an old tire, but it is like newly produced, so 2023. But it is a good tire, especially if you get it nice and hot like we did. It has massive amount of traction. At the rear you get the rear bumper with the slots in there, of course, very recognizable. You get the big wing with the air intakes there, which is super cool. The rear wing itself, of course, and then the exhaust with the sort of mated tailpipes. Super nice. Maintained by Schmidt in Os. You might remember that we did a video with a Von Schmidt a couple of years back. That is actually this company. They are Porsche specialists, of course, and they also build their own like resto mods. GT3, GT2 badge. And we've got the engine here, which is the 3.6 liter Metzger twin turbo charged flat 6, and it is basically the turbo engine with a bit more power. It runs a bit higher boost, and ECU has been fiddled with. But the differences are not that big. It also has the exhaust from a turbo, but the rear silencer, so the back box, is a little bit less restrictive than the turbo. That's why you get a bit more sound and power as well. And it produces 462 horsepower, 620 Newton meters of torque, which is a lot, especially for, you know, 2001. Really impressive. Later on in 2004 they introduced a new version with 483 horsepower and a little bit higher top speed as well. So top speed is 315 for this one, and the later one is 319. 0 to 100 4.1 for this one, 3.9 for the updated one. This car also has a KW V4 suspension kit, which is also a very nice mod. But just look at it in this light. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? This speed yellow, by the way, speed gelb, only 8 to 9% of cars are this color, and they made around 1250 of these. So there are not a lot of yellow ones out there, which is really cool. You get yellow seat belts as well, and these awesome bucket seats with that super recognizable upper part, super wide, which means that your shoulders are so nice and snug. Really good. Seating position is perfect, even for me as a tall gentleman. Yeah, they're proper racing buckets. They're very nice and supportive, but still relatively comfy. We've got GT2 here on the handbrake as well, and a 6-speed manual, limited slip diff at the rear. It's rear wheel drive, hence its reputation as the Widowmaker. So let's find out if that's true. Well, I know that's actually not as bad as I was expecting, because I've already driven it a little bit earlier, and it has a lot of traction on those 315 rears. So here we go. We don't have traction control, we don't have stability control, we do have ABS, but that's the only like driver aid you get. And apparently when it goes, it goes. It's like, it's supposed to be really snappy when it oversteers, and that's down to a few things. Of course, it builds power really late, so around 4000 RPM. That's when it kicks in. So if you're not really there you know, mentally or well, attention wise, I mean, not like mental capacity, or when it's wet or something like that, or it's cold, or your tires are cold. I can imagine that when those turbos kick in at 4,000 RPM, that it can be a dangerous car. But also it seems like they built in a little bit of understeer. Now it's to be expected because you have a very light front end, since you have the engine in the rear. Oh. But it has like an understeering front end, and if you try to adjust that on throttle, I can imagine also that it will oversteer. Yes. Now let me close the windows. The GT2 before this, the 993, was a proper homologation car. So they wanted to race in GT2 and they had to do a homologation car. That was the 993. Also incredible. We have not driven that. I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen, but this replaced that. 1999, the 996 replaced the 993. 2 years later, they introduced the GT2, and by then they ditched GT2 racing and were focusing on GT3 racing. And then they had the 911 GT3 and GT3 RS. Now, that means that 2 years of development actually led to this, which is in essence a road car. It's a street car. It has, you know, the track ingredients like the body, the wing, the wheels, the brakes. But it has a turbo powertrain, and the suspension and stuff is still relatively comfy, even though it's 10 millimeters lower than the turbo. So it is in essence a street car that just works really well on track as well. They also had the Club Sport package for people who really wanted to track drive properly. Oh, but it feels glorious. It really does. It feels tight. The car is in great condition. 98,925 kilometers. It is really, really good. Gearbox, not my favorite. Well, I know that from 996s. The gearbox is not... Ooh, what's going on here? So gearbox, it's okay. It's the shift is fine. It's not too loose or you know, unprecise. Is that a word? I don't know. But you have that pull, that shove of that torque, 620 Newton meters. That is, it doesn't come all at once. And back when it came out, they even said that it didn't suffer from much turbo lag. But it does feel like it's quite... But it does feel like it's quite concentrated. Fucking hell. Okay, so that was the intake hose giving up on the car. It was just the intake hose that released, basically. Semyon got it fixed and we're back onto the Autobahn a couple weeks later to find out what this car feels like, because holy moly, it has some long legs, this. that front end is quite light. Oh, it feels light in general, but that front end feels super light. Wow, I do really love this car. It is the perfect combination between a GT3 and a turbo. It really is. It has all the the tactility and the direct connection that you expect from a GT3, but with that oomph, that torque of a turbo, which is such a great combo. So 4th gear. Look at it go. That is power. And it has quite a bit of torque, but also the torque to weight ratio is really good. It's better than a Nissan GTR Nismo, for instance, to give you an idea of, you know, what this thing does. You have to get that AC going, because otherwise the GoPro will give up. But the secret with this car is just, you need to drive it for a bit, and you need to heat up those tires, and you need to behave when it's cold or wet. Those are the things that you need to keep in mind when you drive it. Because other than, you know, having a lot of power and being a little bit snappy on the oversteer, it does not feel dangerous. It really doesn't. The steering is great. It has super nice weight to it. It's easy to place it, and you know, as long as you keep a little bit of weight on that nose, it's absolutely fine. Pretty short gears as well here. Oh my god. Oh man, that will get your heart rate up, I'll tell you. It doesn't feel scary, it just, everything is so unfiltered in here, which makes it very exciting. Oh, what a good car. It did not disappoint, I'll say that. I was expecting a lot from this car. So it had, you know, my expectations were very high, and it did not disappoint. I mean, it's even better than I was expecting, because I was expecting it to be sketchier, but you can just feel that this car's been made to be trail braked into corners. So if you just touch that brake, you can immediately feel that nose diving in, because you get some weight on it. And I think that's the key to driving this car fast, is just, you know, minding that weight, knowing that you need some weight on that front end, because that rear wheel grip, it grips like crazy, especially, you know, with these hot tires. It just works. Wow, an absolutely iconic car, this. Semyon, thank you so much for coming and letting us have a go, and then coming again with a fixed intake hose. Car works perfectly, as you've seen. Yeah, what a car. An absolute demon love baby. of a GT3 and the turbo, and I love it because of that, because it feels so much more exciting, but it also feels so different compared to all the other Porsches. That's what I love most. It doesn't feel like a GT3, it doesn't feel like a turbo, it really is its own thing, and that is great. Also passed 100,000 kilometers, by the way, so Semyon is doing good work here. Thank you again, Semyon. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it as well. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can also check out this video, this playlist, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.